Hello, I'm Pastor Dave, and this is our sermon recap for Monday, July 3rd, 2023. Here we go. This week we looked at Romans chapter 6, verses 12 through 23, in which the Apostle Paul wrote of the slavery to sin. This is something we should see with the cost of sin, but all too often people tend to focus on the cost of faith instead of where our focus should be, and that is the price of sin. One thing we should always remember is that there is a freedom that comes from our faith in Jesus Christ. This is a freedom that comes when we look away from what others want us to see and realize that there is more out there. There is more we can understand, and there are costs that we did not see before, costs that came from our sin. While we do not always think about it, there is a cost to something. There's always that cost. Yes, in pure economic terms, we can look at being a faithful disciple and say there's a cost to going to church because it takes time. And you could gain something by doing something else instead. But if there's a cost for doing something positive like go to church, that also means there is that cost to sin, something that we often ignore. But there's something else we have to think about in very human terms, and that is that we will always be the slave to something in this life. One of the things you can do is look at even human relationships to sports teams and how obsessive we can get with it, how much time it takes to watch a sport, the cost to attend, the cost for gear, the potential loss in friendships if we're too rabid about it, the time, the attention. But yet, many in our society would not see that as a burden. We would say, oh, it's something positive, something that's enjoyed. But there's still that cost, and we can become a slave to it. Because that's everything in this world. There is a cost, there is an effort to doing it. Now, in faith, we know that Christ's atoning work on the cross paid the price, purchased us from slavery to sin and death to lead us to freedom in Him. The cost that was paid was the cost of our sin. But the problem is many times people see what that cost is as in a positive light. But in reality for us, that was a cost that was paid by Christ, so we didn't have to pay it. But that means we have a choice. We can owe everything to Christ or everything to the world. Everything to Christ, everything to sin. The good news is, by grace, we are free from sin by the grace of God and can live as a free people. God has granted us the grace through faith to turn away from the wages of sin, which is death, to life filled with Him. And in that way, we are a free people because of our loving, merciful, and grace-filled God. Well, that's it for this week. Reminder that we worship Saturday night at 6:30, Sunday morning at 10:45, and we live stream that Sunday morning service on the WSUMC Live Facebook page. But until next time, I'm Pastor Dave, and I hope to see you in worship.